Hello racers and fellow pit crew around the world. Welcome back to another video. Thank you for joining me today. We are going to fit the new T7 free gear gearbox conversion, which is for the B7 car. So yeah, this gets rid of the 5-gear transmission that was heavily criticized when it was released, and allows you to fit a 3-gear transmission, which the stock guys should be over the moon about. I know there was a couple on the market now. There's a Willspeed one and an R1 gearboxes that are out there if people do want to run 3-gear. But yeah, this one is from Associated, so we know it's all going to fit perfectly. And I'll just get all these bits and pieces out of the bags. And some really big bearings. So yeah, the T7 and the, what is it, the SC7 or yeah, SC7. I don't know why it's coming along as an SC7, because it started off as an SC10, and then I think it went to a 10.2, and now we're doing SC7s. There's the instructions. I shall pop a digital version on the screen. So yeah, here we go. This idler is absolutely massive. I will compare it to the differential in a second when I pop that out. But yeah, we've got a few more diff inserts. We'll just pop those off with the flush cuts, which haven't done the greatest of jobs. Let's just break them off. They do have a little cut in the top. I don't know if you can see that. Let's put my hand there. See that little slot there? We'll have a look at these. Yeah, there seems to be a slot in there. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, which will align with those. I don't remember there being a slot before, but yeah, right, there's our things. So we will be fitting the 0 and the 3, and then we've got a bit of tree here, which I have been told you need to make sure that this is completely cut off. We'll put those bits of rubbish over there, and then we've got a new top piece. So yeah, we need to make sure that these little bits that are still on there are really cut down flush, because if you don't get those on, it's not going to go together very well. Get those off. So there we go. And I'm sure there's someone somewhere saying if you're a child, make sure you get an adult to help you with the hobby knife. But yeah, here we go. Right, that's those 4 little points cut down. Can't see any other points there. There is a little hole in the bottom of the gearbox. If I can put it together correctly. Yeah, in the bottom there. That's weird. But now we have these locating dowels. I don't think they were on the previous version. But yeah, we'll have a quick look now. Right. Let's get the 2mm, and I will quickly strip this down. So whenever I'm taking the gearbox apart, whether to change the diff, or now in this case change the entire gearbox, I do like to just pop these two off the bottom, and that allows the top just to lift off. But yeah, there we go. So top bit off and completely out of the way. Yeah, so these here don't have a little cutout in them like these newer ones do. So that's a little strange. I'm going to guess that those don't fit in there because of the cutout. Oh, they do. Yeah, I don't know why they've got that cutout then, but we'll swap them to the cutout ones. So currently a 2-gear 100k diff in here. I've got a spare one with 60k in as well. which I think 60k will probably be closer to what we want to run. 100k is probably a bit steep. Let's see, if we haven't got enough steering, we'll put the 60k in. But it's going to be a couple of weeks before I get to run this again. So yeah, there's the differential out, and now we want to get the anti-roll bar out of the way. You only need to release just one of those, and then it will just slot over, and we can whip these two out the back that hold the two case halves together. So there's that. On the underside we've got these that hold the D block on, and the little rear bumper. So that releases that off there, and the D block hopefully will stay on, which means my wishbones won't fall off. If you're wondering what screwdrivers I'm using, these are the MIP screwdrivers, widely regarded as the best screwdrivers for RC modelling by many people around the world. Just going to disconnect my motor. One of the things I like to do is fit 2.5mm headed screws, so still M3, still exactly the same size. They go into all motors, but instead of the smaller headed 2mm ones, they're a lot more resistant to rounding, because you don't want your motor going anywhere, so you crank it down hard, and on occasion it will strip out. So let's have a look where we are. Let's put the 5 gear to one side. Seems like we're going to have to lose the wishbones anyway, so let's pull those off because we're going to have to change the C block. So pop that there, pop all the wishbones over there. Yeah, so there's a different C block in the box. I think it's for clearance. I'll put the two side by side in a second. Motor's going to flap about while I do this. Yeah, so we've got the new C block and the old C block. As you can see, there's a lot of material missing from in the middle there. And is it the same? No, it looks like it could be 1 degree further in. Or is that? No, this is the Centro C block, so this is the 0 to 4 degree C block, and then this one would be the associated one, which would be 1 to 5. That's why they look different. Right, let's pop them pills out. But yeah, if you had the stock C block, it would line up to be the same as this one. So yeah, we can just see that there's quite a bit of difference there, but this is the Centro one. So they do recommend a little bit of thread lock on these screws. They look way shorter than those ones. Oh, it's 8mm. These are 8mm, so we shall just put those back in. Ooh, the threads do stick up out of the top a lot. I could have just put 6mm in for that. Anyhow, right. That's the C block change. Pills transferred over. Next part is to fit this, so we want an 8mm button, or 2 8mm buttons, which are those two. You've got this strange massive idler, which is to hold these really big bearings. So I'm going to stick the bearings into there. Yeah, so look at the size of this thing. This is the size of a diff, and this is the size of the idler. So there's like, that's mad. But it does keep the motor in the same position as the 5 gear does. So yeah, weight distribution and all that kind of stuff is exactly the same as it was before. So we've got a little slot in there, we should pop that in there, and that one stops this pin rotating. So bash that in there, and then we are going to need to have here the top shaft. So let's pop the slipper off. Try and keep the screws that are coming off in one place, and then the new screws over that side. While I'm here, we shall take that motor plate off. I'm guessing if you wanted to, you could always get another motor plate, spur gear cover, and lay shaft, and then you could sort of have both gearboxes built up, and then obviously put your plates and your slipper and all that kind of stuff over. And if you ever wanted to change it at the track, you could just unbolt the one and bolt the other one on, and then that would obviously save a lot of time doing that. So we've got those two, and then we need to split the gearbox to get the lay shaft out. Right, so there we go. There is our 5-gear transmission, and here's the lay shaft, which we'll keep the bearings for, and then I'll just pop that back together and bosh a screw in there so I don't lose all the gubbins, and then I shall put that to one side with those bits, which we won't need again. So yeah, you need to take the lay shaft out of the 5-gear because that needs to go into this gearbox. So that goes that way through. We're going to put our huge idler on there. That spins nice. And then we just bolt it together. So yeah, we've got those locating pins, which is a really nice feature that we've gained. That seems to spin quite freely. And then we've got 16mm, which is 1, 2, 3. How many do we need? 3 of those. So yeah, into that corner there. That one there. I think we need 4 of those, but it says 3. No, it is 3, because now, where the previous design had one screw going down, a smaller screw going down into the gearbox, which is from the diff half, the top half, which some of you may have found out that if you put the wrong screw in there, it goes straight down into the idlers. I found that out the hard way at a race meeting. Changed the diff, put the wrong screw in there, and of course that screw went straight through and into the idlers, and I put it on the line and all it was doing was spinning the slipper clutch and not moving because obviously the gearbox was completely locked up. So yeah, a little bit of a facepalm moment. And then we'll pop that on there. Still takes the cover, which is great. Yeah, so the original B6, which is obviously going back a generation, didn't have a cover on the spur gear, and I think it was a bit of a hot topic from a design standpoint, because clearly if you're grabbing cars as a marshal, you don't want your fingies going anywhere near the spur gear. As we know, other racers can be a bit enthusiastic when it comes to getting their cars back on the track after a crash, but when the 6.1 came along, I think it was a 6.1, it was either a 6.1 or a 6.2 that came along, and that had its own little spur gear cover which looked a lot like that one. Right, so I'm going to put my diff high because I'm going to run it indoors. Nice and free. And then we've got this top piece. So we've got 4 16s. Which are those 4? And another 16, which makes 5, going through the side. So is that going to set flush? Actually, we don't want to put that on yet, do we? Because we've got the top links. So I'm going to just break those off there. Got that little plate that goes in there. Otherwise that wouldn't fit back in, would it? So there we go, diff back in, top cover on. Okay, so that's the gearbox put back together. We are going to need a little roll bar holder on the back. The same as the one before. They look pretty similar. But they're giving you 2. I don't know why you've got 2. Oh yeah, they're all curved. Don't know why we've got 2 in there. I'm going to reuse those stainless screws. For the roll bar holder, okay, so that transmission is starting to look about complete. I didn't want to do that. Right, we shall just pop the slipper pads back in. And the slipper shaft. And then post it through. This is always tricky. It never used to be that tricky to get this through. And there we go, it's just dropped in. I shall set the slipper tension at the track, so we'll just screw it on so it's flush, just like that. And that one isn't seated properly, so just need to turn that, which is not going to go. Okay, now let's get this bad boy bolted on the chassis. So it looks like we've got the same 8 screws that we had before that hold it on, which means I'm going to need to get 2 more from the box. Okay, so that's bolted on there. Let's get our wishbones, which I think might be quite tricky with this roll bar. Sat through the middle. Let's just pop that off. Everyone knows how to fit that. We'll fit that later. We're going to have to pop that D-block out of the way. And we can slot it on now. Oh, for goodness. Why is this so tricky? Right then. Just going to drop it on upside down. Looking at the pills thinking, I don't remember having them that high. Because it's upside down, Gareth. Right, let's get the little bumper. So that screws into the alloy top piece, so pretty secure on that one. Okay, so drive shaft's in, clamp that back on there, that drive shaft in there. I'm going to regret. Okay, so it turns out that the GoPro overheated while I was recording that, so thank you GoPro. So I fitted the roll bars back on, exactly the same as before, and I've refitted the shock tower and the shocks exactly as they were before on the B7. So there we have it. 3-gear transmission, the conversion kit, associated conversion kit, fitted onto the B7. 3-gear transmission removed. Motor stays in exactly the same place as before, so that's a good thing. I think we've got the motor in about the right place in this car, so yeah, we don't need to move that about at all. But it would be nice if Associated bring out another 3-gear box, but perhaps move the motor back slightly, a bit like the so we had the lay down and the lay back transmissions for the B6 series. So yeah, it would be cool if they brought that out. But yeah, thanks for watching this far into the video. If you like what you're seeing, drop me a thumbs up. If you'd like to follow what I'm doing in the future, please consider subscribing. And yeah, hope to see you on the track next time there's a race meeting. Thank you.